Welcome back. Let's look at some application questions of everyday financial documents. Now, we have got a financial document here, and it is an electricity bill. How do we know it's an electricity bill? We look at the tariff where they say the rate is 0.315 per kilowatt hours. Remember, electricity or usage is measured in kilowatt hours. Therefore, this is an electricity bill. Let's look at the questions. Mr. Lucky Ndlovu received the following bill. Calculate the missing value A. Now, the missing value A is here by the current reading. So, what do we know happens with the meters? The previous reading and the current reading is going to be compared to get the usage. So now, on this account, they give us the previous reading and they give us the usage, and then the unknown is then the current reading. So what must we do? The previous reading, 351,679 plus the usage, 125, will give us the current reading, and that is 351,804. Remember, there's other possible questions as well. They can ask you to calculate the previous reading or the usage. You need to be able to do all three of them. Calculate how the missing value B and show how the VAT was calculated. Let's just reread the question. Calculate the missing value B and show how the VAT was calculated. So this question has got two parts. First, we are going to calculate the missing value B, and then we are going to show how the VAT of R5.91 was calculated. That's going to be the second part of the question. So the missing value B is the subtotal. The subtotal is the consumption multiplied by the tariffs. So what's happening there is we used 125 kilowatt hours times 0.315, because that's the rate, 0.315 rand. It's almost 32 seconds. Oh, cents, not seconds, sorry for that. So that's 125 times 0.315, meaning we need to pay 39 Rand, 375. So if we round it to 2 decimals, because it's money, it's going to be 39 Rand 38. And that is the first part. The second part of this question is show how the VAT was calculated. Now, the moment they ask us to show something, we are not allowed to use the amount they gave us. So we know the VAT is R5.91, but we're not allowed to use those values. We need to get it as our final answer. What do we know about VAT? VAT is 15%. And VAT is calculated on the subtotal. So the subtotal times 15% will give us the VAT. So let's go into the question. Our subtotal is 39 Rand 38 times my 15%, which is also 15 over 100. Let's check it in our calculators. 39.38 times 15%, and that is 5 rand and 90 cents, actually 5,907. So when rounded, it's 5 rand 91. So that is how the VAT was calculated. They used the subtotal and multiplied it by 15%. Another one, Let's Chat, and that is a telephone bill then from Let's Chat Mobile. This is Mr. Khomo. He lives in Springs, and the payment is due on the 2nd of January 2023, meaning this will have been December's invoice. Let's look at the question. Mr. Khomo received the following bill. Calculate the cost per megabyte that he pays for his data bundle. Now, if we look at the data bundle, there it is. He buys 10 gigs for 950 rand. Now, the rate they want is the rand per megabyte, not the gigabyte. So we know that there is 1,000 megabytes in 1 gig, right? So therefore it's going to be 10 gigs times 1,000. So he receives 10,000 megabytes every month. And for that 10,000 megabytes, he pays 950 rand. So the rate is going to be rand divided by the megabytes. So it's going to be 950 divided by 10,000. And that is then going to be rounded to 10 cents per megabyte. And that just shows you that there is numerous questions that they can ask when working with financial documents. They can ask you anything from the account number up to a tariff or rate, how they calculated it. So please ensure that you know how to read from a financial document. Let's look at 2 more examples. If Edna earns 112 Rand per hour and works 40 hours a week for 4,33 weeks in a month, calculate his contribution to his pension fund. Now remember, he contributes 7.5% of his basic salary towards his pension fund. Now, the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to calculate the basic salary. So it's the rate per hour, 112 Rand, times the 40 hours that he works per week, times 4,33 weeks in a month, and that will show us that he earns 19,398 Rand and 40 cents. So of that 19,398 Rand 40, he pays 7.5% to his pension fund. So we need to calculate 7.5%. So therefore, it's going to be 19,398 Rand 40 times 7.5 over 100, and that is 1,454 Rand 88, meaning his deduction on his salary advice slip for pension fund will be 1,454 Rand 88 cents. Let's look at the last example for today. On the last day of May, Sue's balance is R12,544.88. Explain what happened in her account since the 25th of May. So if we look at the 25th of May, we can see that she received her salary and her running balance was R26,029.28. Now, on the last day, it's R12,544.88. Now they ask us what happened in between the 25th and the last day of the month. What happened? She spent money. She had 26,029.28 on the 25th. Then her balance now is 12,544.88. So the difference there is the money she spent. Let's quickly calculate the difference. It's going to be the 26,000 minus the balance in her account now, and then you'll see it's 13,484.40, meaning therefore she spent 13,484.40. And that brings us to time for a break. See you now.